Hey, what's up, fam? So I was in my kitchen minding my own business, making me a nice evening smoothie to cap the night off. And I was scrolling through my phone, and this story popped up on my feed. Now, I am an advocate of promoting marry before you carry. We're trying to get back to that. But I'm also an advocate of taking DNA tests being mandatory when a child is born for anyone. But you got people that push back on that. But here's a prime example of why that must be put into law. This is something that is crazy. Just when you thought it can only get so bad, somebody else takes it to another level. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Well, we talked about those couple of fraud cases, one at the state capitol, the other up in Minnesota. A local woman now in trouble with law for allegedly committing fraud against an old boyfriend to the tune of thousands of dollars. Let's get out to Doug Evans, who's on top of this story for us this afternoon. Doug?
Hey, good afternoon, Tom. It's not unusual for someone to bilk an ex out of child support payments. That's happened before. But this story has a different twist.
Now, what he's saying is that a lot of times exes say that a child belongs to a certain individual and has him paying child support just to find out years later that it's not his child. We've seen that many a times. You can go on the internet and find stories of guys taking DNA tests and giving it to the child's mother, even on her birthday or something like that, or on Christmas, something like on some days like that, and surprise her. And she's upset, said, "Why would you do this? Why would you go behind my back and do this?" Like, what? Woman, you've been lying all this time. Anyway, let's continue.
And it's one that the Coweta County Sheriff's Office wants to get out there in case there are other victims or anyone who might have information about it. Let's roll some video for you and show you who we're talking about. It was not a good New Year's Eve for 18-year-old Bria Hardy. She was taken into custody here at the Sheriff's Office and charged New Year's Eve for 18-year-old Bria Hardy. She was taken into custody here at the Sheriff's Office and charged with theft by deception. We're told her ex-boyfriend came up here in early December, told investigators that he believed that he was the victim of a scam perpetrated by Hardy, in which he had paid her over $7,000 in child support payments. She claimed to him that they had had a child together, a little baby, and that he was responsible for helping her to raise this baby, and even sent him photographs and everything else. Turns out in the investigation that the child was not his. Turns out that the child wasn't hers either.
Fam, did y'all hear that? The child wasn't even hers. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, how could this even be possible? Undoubtedly, they are like not in the same city, probably not in the same state. He may be an older guy. $7,000 in child support. He's not a high school kid. That's for that doggone sure. He has to be a grown man if he's paying $7,000. And they say was he got suspicious in, what was it, say December, or no, about a month or so ago. And couldn't find out, like I said, the child not even his. So like I said, he had to be a grown man messing with this young girl. And she said they had a baby, and I guess trying to trap him with something that don't even belong to her. Well, I tell you what, at least she didn't do what a lot of these, I ain't gonna say a lot, but at least she didn't do what some females have done in the past. And they have actually found a woman who was pregnant, maybe befriended her, and then by the time that baby is born, they're there with her, delete the actual mother, and take the baby and then steal a baby and take the baby back home and tell everybody that the baby is hers and the fella. So at least she didn't do that. But this is still diabolical in itself.
Belong to somebody else. Well, investigators here are asking anyone who has information on this case or had any dealings with her before to contact them. As we said, fraudulently requesting child support payments from an ex is not necessarily anything new, but using somebody else's child to do it, even sending the photographs. So, Coweta County investigators want to make sure that there's nobody else out there. So,
How is this even possible, too? Don't you need a birth certificate to prove that this baby is yours? How did you just say, "Hey, I'm putting him on child support because we have a kid"? See, the court system is jacked up. It got to be some changes because there's no way in the world she should have ever got away with that.
if you have any information, they're asking you to call the Coweta County Sheriff's Office and share that information with them. Theft by deception is the charge here. And again, she was taken into custody hours before midnight at the start of the new year.
Incredible, Doug, the lengths somebody will go to defraud somebody. How did these allegations surface in the first place? In other words, did the ex-boyfriend report her to police?
He must have suspected something, Tom, for him to come forward here to investigators in early December. Then they started at work on his allegations, learned that the child was not his. In fact, the child belonged to somebody else. There is a child, there is a baby. The photographs are real. Trouble is, it doesn't belong to her or him. She apparently used somebody else's baby to convince him that it was his and hers, and he had some responsibility to the child. Kudos for him, paying $7,000, helping her to raise this child or whatever through financial support, but apparently it wasn't warranted in this case.
So maybe I'm digging a little too deep here, but does she know the child that she alleged was hers, and is he going to get that money back?
Well, it's going to be up to the court, I think, as this case meanders through the legal system now, to see if he gets any restitution in the case. That's certainly something that'll probably be on the table from the prosecutor's office here. In terms of whether or not, she knows the child, that's we simply don't know that.
Yeah. Great investigative reporting there. Doug Evans, live for us in Coweta County with the bust of this woman fraudulently claiming it was her child to this ex-boyfriend and getting $7,000 worth of his money. Doug, thanks for that.
Wow. Oh, this is beyond crazy. I got a question. I want to know, like, how old is the child? Because $7,000 in child support, I'd say person could average anywhere from $300 to $1,000 a month for child support. So he's been paying this for some months now. Uh, Again, I would love to know how he found out, what made him suspicious, and two, how did this get resolved so quickly? Because we know how slow the court systems can be in anything. Going to child support court, you got to go to get 3, 4, 5 times at least before the judge say, "Okay, here's what we're gonna, this is what we're gonna do, and this is our final verdict or final decision." We know that can happen. Uh, just for him saying, "I don't think this is my child," court's not going to run with that. They're going to need like some kind of proof of or evidence. So maybe it was someone that she knew, found out what she was doing, and then contacted that ex-boyfriend and put things in motion. Because you know what you need. Number one is a DNA test. And I can't wait till this body cam come out. This whole body cam video come out. Because I love to see like all the evidence and everything. Probably won't come out until, she goes to trial or whatever. But you would have to have somebody that she knows. He would have to, because if they're not living close, because she talking about he was sent pictures, so he hadn't seen the child, which could probably be the issue. But now if he has seen the child, then he may have went and got a DNA test. The only thing about it is, how would he get her sample to they can perform his DNA test? So I'm thinking it has to be somebody that she knew, and he got a DNA test for himself, and probably got a DNA test for the real mother, and they sent it in and was like, "This is not her child at all." But this is crazy, man. Let me, you know what? I want to go over a few stats here real quick before we get out of here. And this is, I want to know what are the statistics of paternity fraud. I just want to know. And go to Chat GPT, and it says anywhere from 1 to 4% of fathers are estimated to be raising a child that is not biologically theirs, and in unbiased studies. This figure comes from analyses of representative populations rather than tests taken because of a dispute. One review found a median of about 3.7 non-paternity across studies worldwide, though individual studies range from 0.8% to 30%. I think some came out not too long ago that Nigeria's rate was like 30%. A 2016 British study suggests about 1 in 5 fathers, or less than 2%, or approximately 2%, unknowingly raise a child who isn't theirs. They said these figures are generally from scientific research using random samples or large demographic testing. They reflect misattributed paternity, not necessarily intentional deception, which is paternity fraud. Let me see if I can find what the definition. Let's see. Says a case of misattributed paternity, the scientific term, exists when a man is not the biological father of a child he is believed to have he has fathered. So that's what that means. Uh Non-paternal event. Legal paternity is about responsibility. We're not gonna get to that yet. I want to get to something else. It says disputed paternity versus self-selected testing. When paternity is already questioned, like in child support, legal disputes, or because a man suspects infidelity, the numbers are much higher. Studies focus on disputed paternity tests show non-paternity rates roughly 17% to 33%, with a median of around 26.9%. Some direct to consumer DNA test data suggests that 1 to 5% of those tested may discover unexpected results, including non-paternity, but this distribution depends heavily on who chooses to test. Probably the mom take a test and then she uses somebody else's DNA, and somehow, I don't know, somehow gets his DNA and submitted, and I don't know how they do it. I don't know. So key point: men who choose a paternity test usually do so because they already have doubt. So the exclusion rate of the putative father is much higher in these cohorts than in the general population. It says country and regional variations. It says United Kingdom around 1.4 to 1.6 non-paternity in population studies. In Canada is about 2.8%. Mexico around 11.8%. Dang. Jamaica, some reports estimated high rates of approximately 34.6%. Dang. In tested cohorts, though these are typically from self-selected samples, not random surveys. Nigeria, laboratory data shows 25 to 27% of paternity tests excludes the presumed father. But again, this reflects men who sought tests, not national average. It don't matter. It shouldn't matter if they sought the test or if everybody was tested. It should be zero. That's the point. Because we don't want to hear you say, well, it ain't that many or just a couple. No, it shouldn't be any. Because there's a lot of fraud going on around here. There's a lot of lying females out here. Just I heard just lying, just what I'm saying, just giving it up all freely, letting dudes shoot up the club, mess around, something, get pregnant by somebody. Now you want to lie about it. Don't lie about it now. Don't get mad. Don't start crying. Don't feel deceived. That's what you chose to do, which is sad because you live a different life. It said non-paternity, caveats and context, non-paternity is not fraud. All cases of misattributed paternity involve deliberate deception, like unreported relations, adoption, IVF mix-ups, honest mistakes. Researchers distinguish non-paternity events from intentional fraud. Let's say from data from DNA testing companies or legal cases overrepresent situations where someone already suspected a problem. These disputed cases are not representative of the general population. So basically what it's saying is most guys don't go out there looking for a DNA test because they feel like that's their child. But for those who are really questioning if their child belongs to them or if they fathered their child, those that actually go out there and get tests done, like you're looking at like Nigeria and Jamaica, like 20 something, 20 to 30 something percent of them finding out that the child is not theirs, which is crazy, man. Which is crazy. Let's see, anything else? Biological definition, I already said there. Let's say biological misattribution can happen without fraud. For example, the mother generally did not know who the father was. They be knowing. Well, even if you don't know, that's even sadder. Relationships overlap close in time. Again, I don't understand why some people feel like they gotta be with somebody and they gotta lay with somebody and then, just give up everything with somebody that you either don't know, you just met, or overlapping. I mean, it is what it is, though. It's errors in medical or fertility settings, rare but documented. Adoption, sperm donation, or IVF not disclosed to the father. So we can understand that. Legal definition, legal paternity is about responsibility, not genetics. A man can be a child's legal father, even if he's not the biological father, depending on jurisdiction and circumstances. Yeah, a lot of times guys be married and get a divorce, pay child support on the child, and come to find out the child's not theirs, but they are still legally obligated to take care of that child until that child is 18. Crazy, right? So comments say how legal paternity is established. Common ways include being married to the mother at the time of birth, signing a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, being named on the birth certificate, court adjudication with or without DNA testing, acting as a father over time, holding out the child as his own. See what I'm saying? In legal terms, paternity fraud typically requires a false representation by about paternity, knowledge or recklessness that the claim may be false, reliance by the alleged father, and harm or damages. Oh, mercy. You know what? I can go on and on and do like, you know what I'm saying? Probably can do this all night. But bottom line is, fellas, get that DNA testing. You can order them. You can go through the courts, go order it online, whatever. Go to whatever store sell them, whatever the case may be. But get those. Get. I don't know how it works, but go get tested. Get you and that child tested. If it ain't the mother's, then that's if it ain't that woman's child, and that's on her. But you need to know. You just need to know. It ain't just so much about the financial responsibilities or trying to get out of that, which I know a lot of dudes want to do, unfortunately. But it's also about when you get older and your child gets older and medical issues come up that may be hereditary. And if let's say the child may have some kind of medical condition that he don't know about. But if you know who the father is and know the genetics, they may know if they got sickle cell traits. You know what I'm saying? If certain types of cancer runs in the body. What else? Lupus. If lupus runs, no, cancer run through the family. I mean, lupus is prevalent in the family. Child needs to know. Child needs to know that. Everybody needs. They needs to know that. The father needs to know stuff like that, just in case he don't want to have kids because of these genetic factors. All this plays a part in it, not just financial. And it also clears up doubt. People can live their life knowing, what I'm saying, not questioning anything, regardless if you agree with it or not. Life ain't fair, but if you chose a certain lifestyle, you got to deal with the consequences, man. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below, share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those four things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us at this channel. And with that being said, believe in peace and love, and I'll see you on the other side.